AgilePM Foundation, Lesson 16, Planning.
One of the common problems, is that many people think that we don't plan in Agile. That's 100% wrong. We don't have a project system unless we have some form of planning. We have a system here, we have a process in every Agile system, and that process requires planning, monitoring, and control. The level of planning and the way we do that is different. In Scrum, for example, which is very common, we usually do not have any kind of upfront plan. We just go on, and whenever we want to start a sprint, we plan that sprint. However, you can have a high-level plan in the beginning of a Scrum project. That is okay as long as you keep it high-level and flexible and so on. But when it comes to DSDM, you must have a high-level plan prepared in the beginning of the project. That's what we need. And then we keep it high-level and flexible. And whenever we want to run a new development time box, we will create a detailed plan for that time box. We have two products for these two concepts. One of them is the delivery plan, that's our high-level plan, and the other one is the time box plan. Pretty simple. Our delivery plan is first outlined in the feasibility phase. You remember, everything we have here is only outlined in the feasibility phase. We don't spend a lot of time. And then, when we see that everything is fine, the project is feasible, we go to the foundations phase, and there we refine the existing products. And when we do that, we also baseline them. But anyway, that's also the case with the delivery plan. It's first outlined in the feasibility, very high level, without any details. And then we add a little bit of details in the foundations. We refine that. Still without details, still high level. Because if you want to plan everything up front, then they won't have enough room to adapt during your project. Remember, we are using an adaptive system. And we go on and then detail them in the time box plan. The whole concept we have here is something like this. This is our whole project, and the project is broken down into multiple increments. Each increment is a set of development time boxes and one deployment at the end. That's when we release our product. When we release something, that whole partition will be called an increment. And all these three concepts here are time boxed. The development time boxes are time boxed. And even our increments. Our increments are nothing but a set of development time boxes and a deployment phase. All of them are time boxed, as well as the increment itself. And the project, that was even one of our principles, to deliver on time. And the principle is not composed really clearly, because we always want to deliver on time. But in here, this principle in DSDM means that our whole project must be time boxed. We have a fixed duration and we deliver exactly on that date, not even one day later. All right, so here, our whole project and the increments are planned in our delivery plan, the high-level plan. And then our time boxes, development time boxes, are planned with the time box plan, obviously. We should remember that our plans in DSDM, as well as every other Agile system, must be outcome-based instead of product-based, or instead of work activity-based. Activity-based is always unacceptable. That's the cheapest way you can look at your project. We're not there to work. No one is in the project to work. They are there to achieve something, to produce something. So that's why in Prince2, for example, one of the principles is to focus on the product. We try to keep everything product-based. But in here, things are different. In a predictive system, First, we try to understand the relationship between the product and the expected outcomes. We make sure about that, and then we can focus on the product. But in here, in adaptive systems, we are using adaptive systems because we cannot be sure about the relationship between the product and the expected outcomes. So we let the product evolve during the project, and instead of focusing on the product, which is not possible for us, we have to focus on the outcomes. Instead of thinking about the solution, always think about the problem you're going to solve. Okay, so that was some really high-level abstract ideas about planning in DSDM, and I guess you're interested in knowing more about the way we run the time boxes. We'll talk about it in the next lesson.